But we're in a political environment where taxpayers and certainly Congress doesn't have very much of an appetite for large infrastructure projects. There's a quote here from a recent article in Time magazine where the author says, "Wall Street hates nukes as much as K Street loves them." So, the financiers don't particularly like them. A lot of risk, long payback. There's some political support for them. But so Jacques Besnainou, how do you think that we're going to get this money in this political and budget climate?
No, I think that's what the U.S. government is doing, and we have an agreement on both sides of the aisle. It's getting loan guarantees to finance the first few plants to show that we can build on time and on budget. But if you ask the current utilities across the country about nuclear power, they love it. Nuclear power plants right now that were built 40 years ago are cash machines.
So the utilities love them, okay. Jeff Byron, you want to jump in here?
That's the other half of this whole financial issue. It may cost a lot to build a new plant, but the ones that are existing, the 104 that exist in this country, are cash cows. A large utility, a couple of nuclear plants might generate a quarter of their profits. So the irony, of course, is they want to see these things continue to operate, and I think, as you may all know, we are extending the life of these plants, the licenses. Yeah. In fact, I worked on this for 5 years at the Electric Power Research Institute a number of years ago, and most of these plants are 30 years old plus. Many of the designs are 40-year-old plus designs, but they generate a great deal of revenue for the utilities, and they do want to keep them operating. And they may operate 60 to 80 years, given the current licensing environment.
I would agree. I think Jacques already alluded to this is 20% of U.S. electricity generation. You have to keep these running, and I think the operators have been heroic in improving capacity factors of these plants. We've learned how to get an amazing amount of electricity out of the existing plants. But I would distinguish between these existing plants and the new builds. The costs that Greg alluded to are levelized cost estimates that reflect all lifetime costs of building the plant, operations and maintenance, fuel. And when you look at those lifetime costs,
including waste disposal?
Including waste disposal at the end, the levelized cost of nuclear with updated cost and fuel numbers is about 10 cents per kilowatt, compared to 5 cents for natural gas.
But if you only look at cost,
that's a big gap.
We'll never build solar if you only look at cost.
Yeah.
There's no free lunch in energy.
Thank you.
Nuclear is expensive. I agree.
No, it's like, that's why I want to compare it to the Golden Gate Bridge. What is the benefit of the Golden Gate Bridge? It's going to be costly to replace it. But if we do nothing right now, we are going to head up to a disaster because we are going to lose the fleet. I don't believe the fleet will be renewed to 80 years. I don't think it's possible. So at one point, the nuclear fleet in the US will, as all of us, retire.
And I think that should be the goal.
Is to retire the fleet?
Absolutely. As I indicated, I've worked on this issue for a number of years, and really you want to see the economics come into the equation here as well. At some point it becomes uneconomical to inspect every rivet and every weld on an aircraft every time it's in an, and so eventually we retire them. We take them out of service, or in our case, we sell them to a third world country.
So what we need,
nuclear power plants, you cannot do so, and so we really want to retire them. In fact, we've gotten ourselves into an awkward situation in the U.S. The debate has taken us down a path, nuclear, not nuclear, and here we are, we're extending the license of every one of these existing plants well beyond their intended design life. These plants are 50-year-old designs. I wouldn't get on a 50-year-old aircraft if you paid me.
So everyone seems to agree we should extend them, but not the life of existing plants, but not too far, right? So 60 years is okay, but not 80. So
we should think about the new generation, how we're going to replace this old fleet of airplanes. So that's what I'm looking at.